Welcome to the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium here in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, for the opening match in Group B, a group that includes none other than the record seven-time champions Egypt, in addition to the tournament's third most successful side, Ghana, whose 4 titles are only beaten by Cameroon's 5. Island nation Cape Verde and Mozambique make up a group which the Pharaohs are expected to win, especially with captain and star striker Mohamed Salah, one of the best players not only in Africa but the entire world, in their ranks. The Liverpool star has made a little secret of his desire to lift this trophy for the very first time. And can he join the likes of Argentina's Lionel Messi and Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo in achieving continental glory for his nation here in Ivory Coast? He's already suffered heartbreak twice, notably when losing a penalty shootout in which he never got to step up from 12 yards last time out against Senegal. Prior to that, it was the 2017 final he lost as Cameroon edged Egypt in Gabon. So the team's beginning to line up in the tunnel. Mozambique on the left-hand side of your picture, led by the veteran Elias Dominguez Palembe, wearing the number 7 jersey, as we wait for the Egyptians to come out. It's Egypt against Mozambique that will kick off the action in Group B. Well, Mozambique are at their first finals since 2010. And they can consider themselves very unfortunate to have been drawn against the Pharaohs yet again in 5 trips to the Nations Cup. They've met the record African champions, or will have done by the end of today, on 4 separate occasions. They've lost the previous 3 matches by 2-0. As the teams begin to emerge and come out into the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium for this opening game, you can see Mohamed Salah there of Egypt wearing number 10.
Accueillons les équipes nationales de l'Égypte et du Mozambique. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the national teams of Egypt and Mozambique.
Well, it's by no means a full house as yet in the stadium for what should be a fairly enthralling and enticing fixture. It is going to be hard work, surely, for the Southern Africans to stop an Egyptian side who could well find themselves back in Abidjan on the final day in February, should things go to plan. Huge roars from the supporters inside the stadium, a smattering of Egyptians away to my right, as they hope to see a change in history for a team with a remarkable record in this competition. Not just the fact that Egypt have won it 7 times, but on their last 6 visits to the tournament, dating back to 2006, they have reached 5 finals. And until 2017, Egypt had never actually lost a final in the Nations Cup. But they've now following their defeat to Senegal in 2022, have lost 2. We start, though, with the national anthem of Egypt. Loud applause from those Pharaohs fans. And the same will surely follow as Mozambique's national anthem gets set to ring out to delight their supporters. Well, they've had to wait a long time to hear their national anthem ring out at the Africa Cup of Nations, Mozambique. Prior to their visit in 2010, they were here in 1998, 1996, with their first trip to Africa's greatest sporting event coming way back in 1986. It has never been anything other than a bottom place finish in the group, though, for the Mambas, and how they would dearly love to change that this time around. With the new format, the expanded 24-team finals and third-place teams going through, just one win from their 3 games could be enough to take them through. 3 points was enough for 2 teams in Cameroon 2 years ago. As we see the Egyptian lineup, led, of course, by Salah, and featuring 6 players who started the final in Cameroon 2 years ago. Abdelmanem, Hamdi, El Neni, Fati, Mohamed and Salah as well. While El Shenawi, a stalwart of Egypt, in goal. He suffered heartbreak 2 years ago when suffering a muscle strain at the round of 16 stage, and so was ruled out of the rest of the tournament. The same applied to Ahmed Hegazi. Central defence injury took him out. Also suffered at the quarter-final stage. The officials today, well, the man in the middle certainly, Dahan Beda from Mauritania. And the VAR team as well, led by the Kenyan. VAR in use at all the matches of the 2023 Nations Cup. So called despite being played in 2024. As we see Mozambique, and once again it's the star man, is the captain Elias Domingues Palembe, who was in the side when Mozambique last played at the Nations Cup 14 years ago. Aged 40 years now, Palembe. And this man too, Mesher, was also in action during Mozambique's last visit to the finals and played against Egypt during that tournament in Angola. 36 years of age, the centre-back, Mesher. And the other key player to look out for, the 15, Reinaldo, the left-back for Mozambique. Plays his club football with Atletico Madrid, a favourite of coach Diego Simeone. And until he suffered a really bad knee ligament injury in February against Real Madrid last year, Reinaldo had started 50 or 54 games for Atletico Madrid. And he's going to have a torrid time, one expects, up against Salah today, who's not started out on his usual position on the right flank, but far more central. So perhaps Reinaldo will get a bit of a breather as he goes over to cover. Mohamed Hani with an early touch for Egypt. It was, ironically, when they hosted the tournament in 2019, Egypt, that's the only time out of their last 6 trips to the Nations Cup that they failed to make the final, stunned as they were in the round of 16 by South Africa in one of the biggest shocks in Nations Cup history, despite losing to former champions. But so dominant at home, Egypt, and so dominant in general. Applause ringing out from the Ivorian fans inside this stadium. As Mozambique try to clear their lines. El Nene into Trezeguet. Trezeguet will get it back on the left-hand flank for Egypt. Swung in. Salah, early chance for him. Doesn't take it. Twist and turn. Oh, there's only a minute 30 on the clock and Egypt lead already. And that was blisteringly quick from Mustafa Mohamed. So much pressure on his shoulders. And he's taken less than 2 minutes to start answering some of his critics. He found goals hard to come by in Cameroon 2 years ago. But that was lightning quick from the non-striker. And for once, a Salah mistake has allowed another Egyptian to profit. Well, Salah was in an awful lot of space, but look at this turn. One touch to drag it onto his right foot. Really smart play from Mustafa Mohamed, and leaving Anani Silouan in the Mozambique goal with no chance. Look at that little rollover drag. And a really cool, sumptuous low finish to give Egypt the lead with, if I'm correct, 89 seconds alone on the clock. The start that Egypt and their Portuguese coach Rui Vitória would have dreamed about, and the nightmare for Mozambique and their coach Chiquinho Conde. I'm sure the game plan was to keep it level for as long as they could. As we see, well, that's Rui Vitória, the Egyptian coach, on your screen. Took charge in July 2022. 14 games in charge so far for the Portuguese. 12 wins and just one defeat against Tunisia in a friendly in September. And unlike some previous Egyptian coaches who were very defensively minded, the likes of Hector Cuper and Carlos Queiroz, who took them to the final in Cameroon, He is not, he's a little bit more attacking, Rui Vitoria. Lovely little touch from Salah down the right-hand flank. Are Egypt going to make it 2 before we've even got 5 minutes on the clock, but forced back well by Ronaldo. El Neni, acres of space down this right-hand side for Zizou. Ronaldo recovers and Pelembe hits it long. And the first real touch for Mohamed El Shenawi, the 35-year-old goalkeeper for Egypt. Hegazi into Abdelmonem. One of the players, Abdelmonem, Mohamed Abdelmonem. At the last tournament, making the Confederation of African Football's best 11. He was just 22 years of age then. But hugely impressive. The man who plays his club football for Al Ahly in Egypt. Some rugged defending, as you might expect from an Atletico player, Reinildo. The judge to have fouled Ahmed Zizou. Plays his football for Zamalek in Egypt, Al Ahly and Zamalek. The Cairo Giants, the biggest clubs in Egyptian football, and as you might expect, well represented in the Pharaohs squad here. Hani tries the 1-2 with Zizou, doesn't get it back. Ronaldo into Mozambique, who need to get a little foot on the ball, and this man can surely do it. There he is, Pelembe, still going at 40 years of age. The skipper, and by my reckoning, the man who is making history today by becoming the oldest outfield player ever at the Africa Cup of Nations, the Mozambique captain, beating the record of 39 years of age set by an Egyptian, Hossam Hassan, in 2006. And here he is outfield at the age of 40, and let me tell you that the temperatures here are fierce. Big humidity. Mozambique trying to find a way back into this game early, but that's overhit. And will not trouble the Egyptian back line. Chiquinho Conde in your screen, a former international. He's been in charge for 3 years now. One of the legends of Mozambican football, Chiquinho Conde, regarded as one of the country's greatest ever players. And he's instilled a fair degree of confidence in this side and has managed to do what others have failed to do over the last decade or so in leading the Mambas back to African football's top table. He played against Egypt in both 1986 and 1998 at the Nations Cup. One of 3 AFCONs the 58-year-old played, and a man who, when qualification was secured, let the tears flow in the success of bringing Mozambique back to this tournament. Nice little bit of footwork there from Mohamed Hani. Salah's dropping very deep. Hegazi having now switched sides with Abdelmonem. Zizou trying to get Egypt moving again, but that's good defensive play. Well, the players will be grateful that the pitch is bathed in shade, given the heat and the humidity. Dove trying to progress it through the middle. Mozambique finally coming forward. Gildo. Into the middle it goes. Oh, they tried to set him up, but now Egypt can break. Salah immediately looking for Mustafa Mohamed. And Mustafa Mohamed is in on goal. He's taken it away, but he's forced a good save from Silouane. Still the danger's not cleared. Zizou. Well, that'll be tidied up. And Ronaldo, who loves to get up and down. That's not the most convincing pass from him, but excellent running from Stanley Retifo. Something of a workmanlike striker for Mozambique. Just 4 goals from his 25 internationals. And frankly, goals is something that Mozambique struggle to find. As we see Mohamed's strike hit well enough, but it was the second touch that just took the ball away from where he really wanted to go. Forcing a tight angle, and in the end a fairly comfortable save for Silouane. Vitoria not happy with the free kick given against Hamdi Fati. Well, Palembe will swing this in. It's not that they lack height, the Egyptian back line. So they've sent up some big men from the back, Mozambique, one of whom is Ed Milson. Over him, headed away by Hegazi. Striker goal, and slashed horribly wide in the end from Gildo. But a shot on target, well, not a shot on target, a shot on goal at least from Mozambique. Salah now. An important tackle that from Ed Milson, who plays his football in South Africa with Kaizer Chiefs, the 32-year-old. He's been a left-back for much of his career, Ed Milson, but while at Cape Town City in South Africa, Benny McCarthy, the coach, moved him into central defence. And Chiquinho Conde is happy to play him here as well. Annie with the throw, but that's going to be very comfortable for Ed Milson. Danger not fully cleared. Ahmed Hegazi a long way in the Mozambican half. And Abdelmanem just dawdles and waits for Egypt to get their positioning back. Al-Neni. A little bit of space again here for Mohamed. Well, he tried to be cute, didn't quite get the flick right, and he couldn't find his teammate Fati. And Mozambique can counter. Palembe just muscled off it. Mesher. Ahmad. And a loose pass allows Egypt just to clear their lines. Here it was, you can see Mohamed got it wrong. Intention was fairly clear. It could have been nice because he had 2 or 3 players in a red jersey alongside him. In case you've joined us late, Mustafa Mohamed broke the deadlock after just a minute and a half. With a very well taken goal. Gildo now. Well, they got here on Tuesday night, Mozambique, having been in South Africa beforehand. They drew against Botswana in a friendly on Monday. And then they also faced local club Jomo Cosmos, beating them fairly handsomely 6-1. And Salah tries to get in behind. Nice first touch from him, but Ronaldo recovers. And they also played Lesotho. And their fellow Southern Africans, that's wayward. It's into Salah. Salah back into Mohamed. Bit of space here for Egypt on the edge of the box. Striker goal, but that's really well blocked. That's a couple of occasions now that Mozambique have been loose with their clearances out of the penalty area, invited Egypt to come forward again. Zizo into the middle. Not cleared again. And that's another excellent block. As Fati let fly, and here is Hamdi Fati once more. Well, you can see the dominance that Egypt have enjoyed in this opening quarter of an hour or so. Nearly 3/4 of the possession. They do at least have a goal to show for it. But the suspicion was that it was going to be a long afternoon for Mozambique before kickoff. And so far we've seen little to change that way of thinking. Salah again, Ronaldo again, showing good strength there. The fullback, as Pelembe just, well, using all his years of experience, saw that coming. Gently to the floor and buys his side a little bit of a respite. Mesher, 36 years of age, to a central defensive partner, Edmilson. It's not the best pass from Edmilson. But if they could take a little bit of the sting out of the game, Mozambique, it would certainly help them. El Neni not happy with that decision going Mozambique's way. That's better. Bit of space now for Ronaldo, two in the middle. What's the cross like? Decent enough. Oh, the header, though, isn't. Nice turn. On the turn. Oh, and he can't find the target. Witty it was. Well, the first attempt was anything but impressive, but then he recovered really well. A lot of space for Ronaldo. That header was, well, he won't wish to see that again, but this was much better. And he had done the hard part, surely, with the turn. And should have hit the target from there, in what is Mozambique's best chance of the game, by a clear mile. And Witty could not take it, but better from Mozambique and promising signs for them. Gildo again. El Neni. Nice idea. But not going to get picked up by Trezeguet. Guimaraes. Goes by the name of Guima. Into Pelembe. Bit of space on the right-hand side in front of him. No foul, says the referee. And Guima will cut that out from reaching the Egyptian skipper Salah. Gildo again beginning to link up well down this left-hand side with Reynildo. Guima. Well, forced back, but this is much better possession for Mozambique. Wayward in there, gives the ball back to Egypt and El Neni. Familiar figure. Ushers forward his long-time friend, Salah. One in the middle, and that's Mohamed. Striker goal, and strike over from Zizou. 2 goals in his 35 internationals for Egypt, Ahmed Zizou. And that was never going to trouble Silouan. Pelembe. So much endeavour for a 40-year-old. Constantly ushering and urging his teammates to get forward. Here he is, lovely little turn from him now. What's the cross like? Well, he's unhappy that he feels he was clipped, I think, Pelembe. His arms outstretched, looking at the referee. Over 100 caps for Mozambique, for Pelembe. A man who made his debut in 2004, 20 years ago. And while he might be the oldest ever outfield player at the Nations Cup, he's got some way to go to be the oldest player ever. That's SM Al Hadari of Egypt, who was 44 when the Egyptian played the 2017 final against Cameroon. There's still time to go. Zizou. Space down this right-hand side for Hani. Back into Zizou. He didn't get that right, Zizou. Another chance for Hani to deliver across. And that's well headed away. And Guima completes the clearance for Mozambique. Pelembe showing good strength. Muscled off it by 2, and still he goes. And on this occasion, he does finally get the decision from the referee. Well, he is an absolutely tireless worker. Pelembe, who's known to many as Dominguez, but we're going with Pelembe on the back of his shirt. Mainly been based in South Africa. 16 years he spent there, Pelembe, winning 4 league titles with 3 different clubs. And he returned home to Mozambique last year, where he now plays for UD Songo. I was hearing recently that his son has started playing as well. Quite rare to have father and son playing football at the same time. Well, they're just about weathering the storm of Mozambique, and they are beginning as well to probe at the other end. Pelembe opening it up to the right-hand side. Now, time to deliver across. In it goes. El Shenawi just gets enough on it. Good bend on the ball in from Makanza. Trezeguet really yet to get into the game, the former Aston Villa man wearing number 7. But Egypt will be pretty happy with the way they've started this game. After today, they meet Ghana on Thursday in A clash of teams with 11 Nations Cup titles between them. That's a third of those ever won. For Mozambique is Cape Verde on Friday. A game that's described as a cup final for them. Mohamed in behind the line, onside. He's got Salah if he wants to play him. He does play him. Salah looking back for Mohamed. And still it's not clear, and it's against the post. And that was unlucky from Trezeguet. Well, the ball was intended for Mohamed. It came to Trezeguet. And he had to move his body pretty quickly, Mohamed Trezeguet. He's got 4 goals in his last 3. The 29-year-old. And a rueful smile. As he doesn't add to the 15 he's scored so far from his near 70 caps. Now playing his football in Turkey with Trabzonspor. Trezeguet. He's played 3 AFCONs, like Mohamed Salah, and lost 2 finals. Belembe. Well, Chiquinho Conde is really animated on the touchline as he tries to steer his side back to level pegging in this game. Mesher. Makanza. Well, Mozambique yet to put an effort on goal, as you can see there. 7 efforts from Egypt, 2 on target. And both of those from Mustafa Mohamed, 26 years of age. Mohamed, a tireless worker. He's got 6 in 15 in the French league so far this season. And Egypt do need someone else to share the goals, because 2 years ago it was pretty heavy going for the Pharaohs. They never won a match by more than 1 goal. In the knockout stage, they always went to extra time. They needed penalties on occasions to get past the Ivory Coast in the round of 16 and Cameroon in the semi-finals. But they've got a different coach now, and they're playing very, very different football. 3 men charging into the area for Egypt. And Reinildo, not knowing that no one was behind him, took no chances and just chested that behind for what is the first corner, I make it, of the game. Lovely floated ball in from Hamdi, but just a little bit too far. As the Egyptian fans who are in this nearest corner to the corner flag serenade and greet and cheer their hero Mohamed Salah. It's good defending once again from Mozambique, getting bodies in the way. Blocks on the line. And we're going to have, I think, a break in play, a cooling break to allow the players to take on water after what has been a lively opening half hour or so. As we get to see the opening goal of the game, the miscontrol from Salah, but the lovely turn and finish from Mohamed. Just took his eye off the ball, Salah. Not so Mohamed. It was that turn to take him away from Dove that created the space, and he was unerring with the finish. And at that point you wondered what Mozambique might have to contend with in the next few minutes or so, but they've done very well. And they've inched their way back in the game. Chances at the other end, Wheaty after 18 minutes. And then just a few minutes or so ago, Trezeguet hitting the post for Egypt. Well, Rui Vitória, the Egyptian coach, is a man who knows what it takes to win trophies. He had a modest playing career in Portugal's lower tiers, but he made his name as the coach of Vitória Guimarães, leading them to cup success over Benfica in 2013. And if you can't beat them, join them type thing. The Lisbon Giants then signed him to lead them in 2015, and he duly led them to back-to-back league titles. He's also won a championship in Saudi Arabia as the 53-year-old Rui Vitória. And of his more attacking approach than his predecessors, he says, yes, my vision is attacking, but it remains balanced. So introducing a degree of caution as we see Hervé Renard there in the centre of your screen. Back on Ivorian soil, the only man to have ever won 2 Cup of Nations with 2 different countries, the man who inspired that fairy tale success of Zambia in 2012. And then he is here because he led Ivory Coast to their second and last title in 2015 when they beat Ghana on penalties after a marathon shootout. And if you don't know him from African football, you may know him from the World Cup. His scenes, his speech in the Saudi Arabia dressing room to inspire them to a 1-0 victory over eventual champions Argentina on the opening day of the not the opening day, but their opening game of the 2022 World Cup went viral. The man who loves his trademark white shirt. Currently in charge of the French women's team as he very much changes his approach, but he's very much welcome here, has got the freedom of Ivory Coast, I'd imagine. We're back in play, Ronaldo. Can't find it. Back to his teammate, Guima. Guima again. One of those recently called into the team. Only made his debut in September. Guima, here he is again. Peroxide figure. Plays with Chavez in Portugal. Making only his 6th appearance for Mozambique today. And he's been heavily involved in the centre of the midfield so far. Here he is again. 28 years of age, but that is the least impressive thing he's done, and credit to him, he holds up his hands to apologise. Trezeguet. Trezeguet again. Fatty, bit of space here. They're getting numbers forward, Egypt. Space at the back post for Zizou if they can find it, but it's not hit well enough. Trezeguet now into Salah. Trezeguet. Trezeguet again. Can't get past Edmilson. Zizou into Salah. Little dinked. The idea to find Mohamed. Didn't have the pace. Didn't have the accuracy. And Mozambique can try and break again through Palembe, but that's a really good tackle coming in from Mohamed Hamdi. Strike and goal from Zizou, not for the first time. And Mozambique have the throw in. There's certainly space out there, and Guima happy to exploit it. And Palembe often finding it. Here he is again. He's overhit that though to Retifo. Yet to really get into the game, the Mozambican striker. And Salah does get in behind the Mozambican back line, but Reinildo Well, it's a fascinating battle, this, between the Atletico Madrid man and the Liverpool star. And at present, I would say that Ronaldo is edging it in his duels with Salah. Certainly one of the more interesting aspects to keep your eye on in this game. Gildo, lovely bit of skill. To the byline he goes. Deep cross. Oh, chance for Mozambique. Superb from El Shenawy. Well, it looked for all the world that was going in. But he recovered and adjusted and got a crucial hand to tip that over the crossbar. Superb goalkeeping from El Shenawy and super wing play as well from Gildo. Well, El Shenawy is down, and this might bring back bad memories of his last Nations Cup. But let's see the save again. A lot of ground to cover. Look at that. I think it was going to be an own goal in the end from Hamdi. He had to come an awfully long way, El Shenawy. That is right out of the top drawer, that save. And no wonder the hands are on the head of Stanley Retifo. Gordon Banks-esque from the 1970 World Cup from El Shenawy. Excellent goalkeeping from him. But he's hurt himself. It was a muscle strain in 2022, as in the 2021 Nations Cup, that ruled him out. In his stead came Gabaski, who went on to star and shine for Egypt at the tournament. He's here again, Gabaski, sitting on the bench. They actually used 3 goalkeepers in the last tournament, Egypt, because Gabaski then got injured briefly. Well, look at this. It's lucky for Hamdi that he didn't get a more solid connection, but it's still a fine piece of goalkeeping nonetheless from El Shenawy. Can Mozambique find their way back into the game? No, headed away. Well, thankfully, El Shenawy seems okay. Hugely experienced figure in that Egyptian goal. Captain of Al Ahly. We can see, look at that, the possession. You can see just how much Mozambique have come back into it. It was 75-25 not so long ago. Now it's nearer 60-40. Ahmad Pelembe, loose. And that's a nice little turn from Trezeguet. Good awareness of the players around him. Zizou into Fati. Makanza. Well, they've lost it in midfield at Mozambique, and there's arms outstretched when there's defending to be done. Trezeguet into the middle into Mohamed. Oh, really nice idea. The execution wasn't quite right. There's super movement as well, once again, from Mohamed. Needed more bend. Needed a whole lot more accuracy, let's be honest. But nice idea from Trezeguet. And a willing runner in Mohamed. Gima. Pelembe. Mozambique surging forward, 2 in the box. To the byline they go. I think that's going to be, I thought it was actually behind for a goal kick, but it's a corner. Yeah, good decision from the official. Pelembe checks onto his left. Doesn't get it in the area. Gildo over and struck from distance. And that was wildly ambitious. No expression on the face of Chiquinho Conde. But that's Makanza, the right back. Striking at goal like you might expect from a man who has no goals from his 16 internationals so far. Not the best option, and I can't even call that a half chance, but it goes begging nonetheless. Now Nenny, the Arsenal man. Out to Hamdi, surging forward there. The left back. More patient from Egypt. Hani. Higazi, all 10 outfield players of Egypt now in the Mozambican half. Now Nenny, this tireless movement from the Arsenal man. Giving options. It's a nice little dummy, but there's a poor touch again from Salah. Well, Palembe wants the foul, and he's got the foul. And I think he wants a little bit more than that as well, Palembe, following the challenge from Salah, but there really wasn't much in it. But he's just not quite on the top of his game with some of his touches. Mohamed Salah, which is rare given how good his first touch normally is. Perhaps it's just a bit of readjusting to football on the continent. As Mozambique come forward again. Retifo now into the area. Tries to cross it in, but El Neni cuts it out. And this time it's the turn of Mohamed to drop deep. And there's an effort with the outside of his boot. Doesn't find Trezeguet. Well, to give an indication of the task facing Mozambique, Egypt have conceded just 1 goal in their last 11 group matches at the Nations Cup. And they've only lost once in 19 group matches as Salah is invited forward. Silouan comes out, rushes 10 yards or so out of his area to clear the danger from on-rushing Mohamed Salah. I think Salah gives him a cheeky smile, as if to acknowledge the work done by the figure in green for Mozambique. But just a simple long ball over the top, and Salah was in behind. Hani with the throw. Fati again. Guima dispossesses him. Mozambique beginning to gain in confidence. Makanza, the right back, getting forward. Witty up ahead of him, but he checks inside. Ahmad spreads the play beautifully to Palembe, who's now on this left-hand side. In it comes and just breaks down again in the box from Mozambique, but the approach play really impressive from the Mambas. And it's end-to-end at the moment now. Salah setting Trezeguet free down the left-hand side. Surging forward into the box, Salah. Trezeguet. He's got to 2 to aim at in the middle, but he tries to drop his shoulder. He's forced the corner. And from one end of the pitch to the other in the blink of an eye. Really good pace about this game. Often, Nations Cup matches can be slow affairs, but both these sides really trying to take the game to each other. Just a minute or so till the break. Egypt looking to double their lead in the final seconds. 4 or 5 men up from the back. Headed clear by Mozambique. Pelembe in the area, just it's time to take the touch, but that's loose from him. And then Hamdi was clattered, and Egypt have a free kick. As we wait to see how many minutes of additional time there will be at the end of this opening period. Well, Salah standing over it. Hegazi coming forward. Abdelmanem will join him as well. Abdelmanem, who scored a header in the group stage last time around against Sudan. Vital goal it was in a 1-0 victory. 2 of the obvious danger men. Salah slings it in. There is Hegazi, and it's just off target. And he puts his hand in his head. Ahmed Hegazi, a former West Bromwich Albion man, now based in Saudi Arabia. And that'll be 4 minutes of additional time. It was simplicity itself. Good ball in from Salah. Finding the head of one of the danger men. Pretty wide in the end from Hegazi, but a sighter for him. Gima. Edmilson, Mesher. Just inviting Ahmad forward. And they're Witty in a little bit of space on the right flank. Drilled in low. Retifo stumbles. That was unfortunate. He's had very, very little quality ball. And on the one occasion, he does get something exciting. Just a little trip, a little stumble. And the possession was lost. El Neni, winning his 98th cap today, could win his 100th against Cape Verde in 8 days' time. A game that will be here in this stadium. The other game, Mozambique-Ghana, will be also in Abidjan, but at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium in Abimpe. Mozambique will be desperate to keep it to just the one as they go in at half-time. Chiquinho Kondo will certainly think he can work with his players at the break to find their way back into this. And they have knocked on the door. That's nice, and he's held back surely there, but play on. Hani, Zizo, lovely football from Egypt down this right flank, and they've won a corner. And that really was delightful. Lots of triangles, interchanging, good movement. And Mozambique did well just to suffer a corner and no more. Lovely play down this right-hand side by the Al Ahly fullback, Hani. Salah cheered again by the Egyptian fans as he comes over to take the corner. Not sure they need 2 men on it. Nonetheless, Zizo is there as well. And it looks as if Zizo will be taking it. Outswinger from him. Up to Hegazi again. Not fully clear, driven hard and low. And at the second attempt, Silouan gathers it. And not content with sitting back, he wants to try and find a goal before the break to draw his team level. Missed control though from Gildo. And now they might have a little bit more defending to do. No, they don't, because the half-time whistle has been blown by the Mauritanian official to bring an end. A really intriguing opening period. as we see the strike from Hani again. But there were better moments than that, not least of all the second-minute goal from Mustafa Mohamed, which currently separates the sides. Egypt also hit the post through Mahmoud Trezeguet, while at the other end, Witty almost found a way back into it for Mozambique. But at half-time here in Abidjan, it is Egypt 1, Mozambique 0.